Hey, Mr. C, how are you today?
I'm doing all right, Jane. It's lovely to see you again. How was holiday?
Yes, it was absolutely fantastic. I must say, I'm coming back ultra refreshed and ultra inspired, I must say.
You know, when I saw you first thing this morning, I said, she looks ultra inspired. Fresh.
First thing this morning, people will start to talk. Right then,
Well, I
three.
didn't mean very first thing this morning. I mean, well, anyway, carry on.
Now you've let the cat out the bag. Three dangerous mistakes that fit pros make. What are you going to tell us today?
I think one of the biggest mistakes that everybody makes, it's not just fitness professionals, but since it's the fitness industry, we're talking about fitness professionals particularly, is in an attempt to be everything to everyone, we wind up meaning nothing to anyone.
Uh-huh.
And if you hear the phrase, just do it, your mind instantly goes to Nike, doesn't it? You don't
Absolutely.
really need to think about what does that phrase mean. It's almost conditioned in us on a molecular level because everyone understands that Nike produces sporting kit. Now imagine BMW, another very reputable brand, and they sat down and they said, you know what? We're going to enter into the apparel market with a new innovative pair of running shoes. Now they'd get annihilated because it doesn't matter how distinct their reputation is, how well they can engineer an automobile. They're just simply not known for anything else or other than the automotive industry. But many times we try to get into aspects of the fitness industry that we're not known for. And we have not built a reputation and standard for excellence within. You know, I get a lot of business cards. People will send me their business cards or they'll post their business cards online or send me an email and ask me, well, what do you think? And, you know, when you get these business cards, a lot of times they list everything the fitness professional thinks they do.
Yeah.
From preparing a client for competition, to sport, to weight loss, to nutritional counseling. Some of them even have image consultant, whatever the hell that means. And if you cannot define what it is you do in two sentences or less, you're saying I'm not exactly sure what it is I have to offer. And your clientele or prospective clientele, they're not going to have a clue because if we can't identify it succinctly, why should we unfairly expect them to? So that's the first,
Right.
is ambiguity. Understand exactly what it is you do. And the other side of that is understand in no uncertain terms what you don't do. I was, a few years ago, I was on the URSA Traveling Trade Show with the National Fitness Business Alliance, headed up by Thomas Plummer, who I think has some brilliant stuff. And Tom said something so simple, yet quite profound. He said, take a look at the three top trends in the fitness industry at any given point. Now, choose to selectively not become phenomenal in two of them, find one and become legendary at it. If you take a look at the shirt I'm wearing, it says, look better naked. Now, my friend David Barton, back in the 1990s, created a phenom in the New York City area. This slogan, in his exact brand font, was on the cover of New York Magazine. And he created a legendary marketing campaign because it was so succinct. Now, David Barton didn't say, hey, come to our club, we'll help you achieve any goal, because that's ambiguous. He said, look, here's what you're here for. If this resonates with you, if you read this, if you see this, and you feel it on a molecular level, this is the place for you to be, because we will help you look better naked, better than any other place in the fitness industry. And that was so powerful because it was so visceral and because it was so clear. Ambiguity kills your career faster than anything else. The second mistake is misunderstanding your market. Now, I find it shocking when I see personal trainers, again, with their business cards, that they're nearly nude. Or in some cases, Jane, they're completely naked. And I'm serious. I'm thinking of one fitness professional in particular. He sent me, this is going back a couple of years ago, his business card, And aside from a strategically placed sheet, absolutely naked, and you'll see this all over Facebook.
Yeah, you do. You see a lot of it now.
And I have nothing against nudity. You know, I myself have been naked before. But if you're a fitness professional, think of the market that you're advertising towards. This is the baby boomer is and has been and will be, we've talked about this, our biggest target population for the next 2 decades. These are people who are not in the best shape of their life anymore. These are the people who have probably gained a little bit of weight while they've lost a little bit of hair. I can relate to that. These people might have gone through a divorce. These people might be struggling with their self-concept, their level of self-efficacy related to health and fitness. And there you are, 20-something.
Yeah, jumping around in a swimsuit.
You're intimidating because I can never relate to you. You're obviously not me. As a matter of fact, you look like the person my husband or my wife ran off with 2 months ago. Could you be any further from the center? So if you're advertising for soft porn, well, that's probably appropriate. However, if you're trying to convey a level of professionalism and a modicum of emotional safety with your market, you've clearly missed the mark. Now, I understand the logic behind an attempt to communicate, hey, I'm fit, I represent my product. And, you know, if your market's a younger demographic, they might respond to a more edgy, even a bit salacious marketing message. And if that's the case, go for it. But if your target market is 40 plus and they desire to lose weight, improve their overall health, then it's likely that not only are they not going to identify with you, but your message could be more intimidating than it is alluring.
Yeah, I agree.
The most dangerous mistake that fitness professionals make is inconsistency. Sergio Zegman is the former marketing director for Coca-Cola. And in his book, The End of Marketing as We Know It, he talks about what is arguably one of the worst marketing failures in history, the launch of New Coke. Now, the company misinterpreted their market research. We could do a whole coffee episode on why marketing research sometimes leads us to erroneous conclusions and causes us to make horrific mistakes. But the company compiled all of their data and market research, and they misinterpreted to mean what their customers really wanted was a sweeter version of what's now known as classic Coke. And you know what? Nothing was further from reality. As a matter of fact, the product failed miserably. In their book, The Fall of Advertising and the Rise of PR, authors Alan Laura Reese assert that a person needs to be exposed to our brand message 3 times before it starts to resonate with them. Now, to make matters even more complicated, because of the high-paced world we live in and the amount of preoccupation that our clients or our prospective clients exist within, a person's only paying attention to about 1 out of every 9 exposures. So this means we need to put our brand in front of our target market an average of 27 times before we even get noticed. So if we're constantly making changes to the look and feel of our marketing message, we don't get noticed. Think about the top 3 brands, any 3 that come to mind. More likely than not, Jane, you'll be able to recognize the brand by their logo and their color scheme alone.
Yeah.
Think Virgin. Virgin would never even consider changing the red background because that red with the circle and the Virgin logo in the middle of the exact way it's written resonates with us before we even consciously aware of what it is that the words are saying. Does that make sense?
It does. Can I just say something else as well that I think the Fit Pro will find really useful? Is you're so right about the brands being recognisable by colour. It's almost colour, taste and sound in a way, isn't it? But if you take Virgin again, another thing that they do that's amazing, which ties into the other things that you've talked about, are they keep their brand image, and yet they associate really quickly, or even before the hit, with the next big thing. For example, Virgin have just done a massive association with Usain Bolt just before the Olympics. So in a way now you can't see him without thinking of Virgin. So
yeah, they've done that so cleverly as well.
Yeah.
If you think about Dr. Charles King, who is a professor of marketing at the University of Illinois, he talks about this. He says basically there are two types of people: those who are ahead of the trends and those who are behind trends, and they miss them completely. And the people who make the most amount of money are the people who can predict and capitalize on a trend before it even occurs. So that's a really good point, Jane, because if we take a look at the trends surrounding fitness, and we say, well, who is our target audience, and what is it that their needs are today, and even more important, what are the unexpressed needs of our clientele that they don't even realize is an emerging need? And if we can anticipate needs more effectively than we can meet needs, the future is wide open for us.
I think you're spot on. So let me just, what you've said really resonates with me. And we all struggle in this industry because things come in so quickly. And because of social media and because of the people that shout, you almost think that you're missing out. So if you take my brand, for instance, I will always be a Group X instructor doing events and qualifications. Whatever happens next, I will get in on it. But it doesn't alter the fact that I'm a Group X trainer doing events and qualifications. What I don't try and be is, like you say, a weight loss expert or a fat loss guru or a something and something and something. We just keep adding things to our area of expertise, really. We keep the brand alive, we keep who we are alive, and we keep plugging at it. Because I think the three mistakes you're saying are that people try and expose what is good about themselves to their target market, not what the target market need. They try and get into everything and be an expert in everything in one fell swoop, and they never put enough time into becoming the expert, because if it doesn't work first time, they run away and go on to the next thing, perhaps.
So, yeah, I think it's both. I think in our industry, because there's such an amount of intimacy involved, it's not simply a transactional business. People have to buy you as much as they buy your information and your competence.
Yeah.
I think where the failure is people saying, right, what do I specialize in? What are my unique talents and areas of strength? And what are they going to be in the future? Conversely, where are my areas of weakness? What are the areas that I seriously lack? Whether lack in ability, or lack in passion, or lack in innate talent. And how do I network with people that complement my areas of weakness with their resolute strengths? Your network determines your net worth.
Yeah, I love that.
That's a very pithy little cliche, isn't it?
I'm going to use
it's
that.
Spot on. Because if we can identify people who are absolutely powerful and strong in the areas that we lack, we can move forward at a much faster rate and carve out an area of distinction. Again, not to self-promote, but PTA Global. When I started forming that team, I knew that what I do better than anybody else on that team is coaching. Coaching related to sales, coaching related to branding, and coaching related to helping people extract their own inner resources and exercise not only their body, but their own volition to progressively move toward the fulfillment of a goal that's worthy of them.
Right.
I got on the team, I was very interested in the biomechanics. I was very interested in training and programming and energy system development and all of that type of stuff that surrounds the day-to-day experience with the client. But I understood I'll never understand biomechanics, no matter how well I think I do, as well as a Rodney Corn. I will never be the hands-on practitioner that Ian O'Dwyer is, and I'll never understand physiology at the level of a Scott Hobson. I won't understand biomechanics and structure and function, and I'm not alone in this. I think the majority of the industry falls into this category by default of a Bashol Dalcourt. So I never really tried to get into that area. I let the masters of that area be the masters.
Yeah.
And I just simply tried to be the best Bobby Cappuccio I could possibly be, because I understood if all of us were focusing on a unique area of distinction that very few people can excel in, our market would get the very best out of an organization that was built upon networks. Does that make sense?
Absolutely, 100% to me, 100%. It is learning your strengths. Use the people around you to feed off, but create a better you as well, rather than trying to be them and trying to all give the same information. Is that what you're saying? I work in a very close field, and my best, more than anything, my best friend, my business partner, we do the same things, yet we manage to do them very differently. We both have, it's knowing your strengths and knowing your weaknesses, I think.
Absolutely. I mean, everybody talks about the SWOT analysis, but it's so powerful for you to do a SWOT analysis on yourself. And what the SWOT analysis simply is, it's an acronym for assessing, and companies do this, but individuals need to do this. What are my strengths? And more important than that, what are my 1 to 2 top strengths? If you've got 5 strengths, they're not strengths, they're passing fancies. What are the 1 to 2 things that I can deliver uniquely and powerfully that separate me from the vast majority of fitness professionals working today? And just as important of a question, what am I rubbish at?
The list goes on and on.
Levels of weaknesses that I have no business getting into unless I am trying to withdraw value from the industry and kill my career at the same time. And the O stands for what opportunities, given my strength and weaknesses, are afforded to me, giving emerging trends in the marketplace are afforded to me. The baby boom is getting older. What do people who are getting older want? And even more powerful, more visceral of a question is people who are getting older, what do they fear most? What disturbs them? What terrifies them? Because that incites them to action.
Yeah.
And that's something that is a need we can powerfully minister to. And then the last question is, what are some of the threats that are emerging? In what areas related to my strengths is there new information or levels of competency that I currently lack that I need to develop? And going back again to the legendary Mark Verstegen, it's about doing the basics savagely well. When Mark Verstegen, I first heard him say that, it sent chills through my spine. It's about doing the basics. What are your basics, and how do I do them savagely well, better than anybody else? And that's your own personal SWOT analysis. And I think you should take the time to take an afternoon and whether go by the shore or sit out in a park, paper and pen, and really sort that out. You can revisit, you can revise it, but do it.
I'm with you. Well, thanks so much for that, Bobby. That's really helped me. Really helped me, as you do every week. And I very, very much look forward to speaking to you next week.
Me as well, Jane.
Take care.